We are live here this hour on this WNIS Ask the Expert show, my friends, with your friend, Mr. Chuck Worley of Worley's Home Services. Mr. Tommy Hines is here with us, too. Two non-strangers to the WNIS lineup, and so glad to have you here for a weekday Ask the Expert show. Chuck, welcome, my friend.
Yeah, this is great. I am real excited about joining the weekly group. We've had a show, I've been on the radio off and on. This is officially my 20th year on and off of the radio. Back in 2003, good friend of mine, Keith Bales, which if we have any old-time listeners, they will recognize Keith Bales, one of my heroes, and taught me a lot about the building science and spray foam insulation and encapsulations, and he was big on learning the building science. He turned me into a building science geek. So I love fixing houses. Houses talk to me. I always, we were kind of kicking around some things some nicknames of called 757 House Whisperer. And that is what we're going to call the show is 757 House Whisperer. It is basically anything that could go wrong or will go wrong with the house. We want to offer you guys a service to call in and ask questions about your problems that you're having in your house, because there is a lot of problems in a house, especially when you buy a house. You know, you're like so excited about a brand new house, and then you're like, oh, their sink doesn't work either. So it's we offer all kinds of things from heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, crawl space encapsulation, spray foam insulation, pretty much anything you can do to mess up a house, we can fix. And I just like to kind of introduce myself. Some of the people will recognize my name, Chuck Worley. You'll see my green and orange trucks everywhere. I always joke that once you see it, you can't unsee it. It is a very green and very orange truck with Worley's on the side, and our service area runs from New Kent all the way to the Virginia line. So there's Suffolk, Surrey, just any place in the 757. Although New Kent kind of tickles with 804, but and then we got the new zip code. So is it still called 757 when the new zip code's coming in?
As far as I know,
the new 757-948 zip code area. But yeah, this is our stomping grounds. I mean, I grew up here in Norfolk, and my kids grew up in Tab and Yorktown, Virginia. So this is our area, and I love, being in this area. Like I said, I've been here since 6th grade, and I just love serving this area. And one of the biggest benefits to being in this area is not many things that I haven't seen, like the floods of Norfolk and the other stuff that comes up. I know this area, and I know the problems in houses in these areas. So I've been on the show, like I said, for 20 years. I was going to tell you about a couple different shows that I've been on. Was the 757 Home Pros. Actually, originally back in 2003, it was Keith Bales invited me onto his show. And we had such a blast together coming in and visiting. And you're old school too, man. You've been around. So we come in, crack up on Saturday mornings, have a good time, teach people about building science and problems. And that kind of led into another show called the 757 Home Pros, where we had a roofer and a remodeler and a heating and air and a bug guy. And, man, that show was so dynamic and so much fun. And unfortunately, Keith passed away, and he was our, what do you call the word, the main person driving it. He was our driving force of that show. And I got to tell you, I was just heartbroken when he died, and I just couldn't do it anymore. We all kind of just broke up after him. He was the catalyst of the show. And when that happened, it just kind of changed the whole dynamic of the show, and so we stopped doing it. But I've been off and on since then. This past year, I've been on Saturday mornings and really had a great time, doing the show, basically helping people of the 757 fix their houses. There are so many problems at houses, and nobody knows what to do to fix it. They call a heating and air guy when they got and then it turns out there's a crawl space issue. Well, if my dad said any man armed with a hammer treats everything as a nail. So if you have a heating and air guy and he comes to your house, he's got one hammer. He's going to hit you with his heat pump or his gas furnace. He don't know to look at other stuff. With us, My dad explained he was old CB in the Navy. Man, my dad could fix anything. He's 77 years old, and he would still try and build a fence at 77. The guy can do anything, right? So he could fix anything. So when he said any man armed with a hammer treats everything as a nail, I looked at contractors like, well, that's the same thing. They have one, you call an insulation guy, he's not looking at the ductwork that's sweating down in between your he's just looking at your insulation. So he's going to hit you with what he has. We come in, we got a tow belt on. We said, man, why are you replacing this heating and air conditioning? Did you look at the ductwork? The ductwork's literally blowing in the attic, cooling off all the animals, or heating all the animals underneath your house, Then we're like, well, your ductwork is sweating. Have you ever thought about, a crawl space encapsulation? So with us, it's more of a tool belt. We're walking in, we're looking at everything. In fact, going back to Keith, what he taught me, it kind of just exploded my head where he said, Chuck, the ductwork is sweating. I said, yeah, I see that. We're underneath the house. Of course, I'm a lot chubbier than he was, but he joked me when he'd try and get me stuck between rafters. But other than that, we had fun under the house, and he had to get me all greased up to get through. But he said, Chuck, the ductwork's sweating. They're paying you to get ductwork cold on the inside. So that's not the problem. I said, okay. He goes, the duct's sweating on the outside. It's because of the heat of the crawl space touching the cold duct. And literally, I was like, holy cow, I'm trying to fix ductwork by replacing it. Well, what happens in 30 days? It's sweating again. And it just exploded my mind to what building science was, and that just put me on a journey to getting, I had several people with BPI certifications, which is blower door testing, negative pressure testing houses to really find out what their real problems are, not just going out to sell a heat pump because they think that's what their problem is. And it could actually just be the ductwork, or it could be the crawl space needs to be encapsulated because the ductwork's sweating. It doesn't do you any good replacing the ductwork in a hot, humid crawl space. It's going to still sweat. You can't stop it. It's math. It's science, right? So that is us as a whole. No, this I do want to tell people to call in, because we want to, on the front of the hour, was it 627-7979? Let's get some calls in here. This is about Ask the Expert. This show is for you guys. We have got all kinds of answers for you. We just need some good questions. And by you calling in and us helping you, we're actually helping 50, 60 other people with the same problem that didn't want to call in because they were too shy. So we definitely want you to call in. And we also have another option for our show, is you can actually text a question. The phone number is 757-955-9415. So that's 955-9415. So if you text that number with a question, if you're too shy to call in and ask, you can text the questions. We got people on the line waiting for your calls, waiting for your texts, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you guys might have about your house. The website is 757 House Whisperer. You can go to that. And, of course, Facebook Live. We're trying to do everything to try and get as many people listening so that we can really, really help you guys answer questions about your house. So, sorry about that. That's had to cough, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun being on the radio. We're really excited about starting this show and really continuing what 757 or what WINS 790 has been doing for years. We want to improve that. We are actually interviewing companies now to try and find the best roofer, the best heating and air guy. Well, of course, I know the best heating and air guy, but the home improvement guys and stuff like that. We're trying to find the best people so that we can help you guys answer any questions, kind of like the home pros that we had back in the late 2000s. So our whole mission really is to serve the public, helping them fix their houses, whether you use us or you don't use us, but really just calling in, asking questions so we can help you.
Cool. Starting that dialogue. We're live again right here, 627-7979. Feel free to join the show. It's only 6:15 here on our live Wednesday with Chuck Worley here with Worley's Home Services. So excited. That's going to be a fun year here on Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 6 to 7.
From 6 to 7 p.m. right before Mr. Sean Hannity, right?
Well, we're right after Hannity, and coming up next will be Fox Across America with Jimmy Fela.
Okay.
Jimmy
cool.
Fela. It's a good show. It's a fun show. But, Chuck, what sorts of experts do you have planned to bring into the show to discuss with our listeners?
So we definitely have a home improvement contractor, which, again, just going back to the show that we had before, just really just made the decision, within a couple of days ago that we were going to make a commitment to coming in once a week because I'm sure not all of y'all do a radio show or podcast, but there's a lot of prep to this show. There's a lot of, getting things ready to try and help you guys and tell you guys about stories of issues that we've had, that we've run across, that we've been able to help people. And it's a lot. There's a lot of show prep. So because we want to make the best show possible for you guys. So we are really looking forward to this year. We really wanted to do more, and that's why we made the commitment to come in every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. So you guys dial it in, get ready. I even brought in Tommy Hines tonight because he has been on the radio for a little while. Some of you guys are recognizing
Actually, Chuck,
him.
my first time on a WNIS microphone was 1986.
Oh, gosh.
Okay? And
Now, that would put you a little bit over 30 years old, right?
that would put me well past that age. And then, I just was inspired after 20 years in the mortgage business and 15 years helping people finance their perfect homes, meaning renovation is expensive. Okay?
It is.
I don't care what people want to do to their homes, whether they're replacing their HVAC, their electrical, their plumbing, building room additions, whatever it is, tens of thousands are sometimes involved. And how many of us have tens of thousands sitting around? Not very many. So 16 years ago, after the market crash, I got into renovation lending, and so that is my specialty. Even I started doing Perfect Home Remedy, which some of y'all have probably heard on Saturdays. And when I was doing my Saturday show, your show was right before mine. And I thought then that I need to get with you and partner with you, Chuck, because I love your work ethic. I love your expertise. I love your solutions to problems. Well, Perfect Home Remedy that we've been promoting for the last year on WNIS is perfecthomeremedy.com. And when people go there, what they're going to get connected with is we're going to start the conversation with homeowners, home buyers, and realtors and other people involved in real estate. And we help them, whether they're buying their first home, to get a Worley repair done on that property. We'll help them get a remodeler in, and we're discussing getting the right remodeler connected with us and with 757 House Whisperer, because this is an entity that is valuable to this community. So many people get ripped off by so many companies, and they are aggravated by having to spend so much time getting multiple bids from so many people that maybe they can trust. Maybe they can't trust them, Chuck. They can trust Worley's because you've been there. You've got the track record.
We fix a lot of stuff.
You've got that track record, brother, and that's why we're here together. I'm here just to provide financing solutions to our customers, and when they need work done and it goes more than a few $1,000s, I'm part of that team.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. And again, open phone line 627-7979. I believe we have our first call to the show.
Yes. Before we go to that, I want to tell you we do have a Starbucks card for anybody that calls in and asks a question or texts. Now, are you giving away one for each caller? Or are you giving away one for each? No,
for everybody.
One for each caller.
Wow.
Anybody that calls in gets a gift card to Starbucks to motivate you to call in. Because like I said, you're not just helping yourself. You're actually helping other people. And it's fun answering these questions. And like I said, when you answer one, you're actually helping 50 other people. So, but that number is 955-9415. Text that number if you don't want to call in, text that number, and we can answer the question like that. But go ahead.
Awesome. It looks like we've got Ed in Virginia Beach on the line for that first call of the show. Welcome, Ed. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
So I have an HVAC issue, and that I'm not familiar with. I'm not an HVAC guy, but I'm a handyman, a little bit of carpenter, and that sort of thing. So I went up in the attic, and I found a damper with wires. And my question is I got a lot of heat on the first floor, but never to the upstairs. Or rather the other way, I'm sorry. All the heat goes to upstairs and nothing downstairs.
Okay, do you have one or two thermostats in the house?
I just have one.
You have one thermostat, but you have a damper that actually has like 24-volt like thermostat wire going to it?
It's got wiring, but I don't know what kind of wiring it is. I guess it's electrical, but I don't know if it's Romex or what.
Okay.
I guess it's regular wire. My question is, I think the guy that owned the house took the thermostat with him, and I just have a conventional thermostat. And I don't know if I can control that damper if the motors burn out. It's kind of difficult to move. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what to do.
Okay. Yeah. More than likely, I'm going to have to come out and take a look at that. Mike, I guess, got your address and stuff. So, yeah, if he can get your address and your information, I'll definitely swing by and take a look at that. But what it sounds like, and this happens a lot on two-story houses, a lot of townhomes, stuff like that. The builders, and not saying anything bad about builders, but they will build a different house for their wife than they will yours. I normally let that sink in for a second. Mm-hmm. Not saying they're bad people, but they're going to build a better house for their wife than they will yours. So they always, with the heat and air guy, they never want to pay him enough money. So they basically said, how is the cheapest way that you can cool first floor, second floor that will pass an inspection? And when I say pass, you have A, B, C, and D is still passing. So what they'll do is they'll put in one system for 2 floors. And here's the biggest problem with that. You cannot beat God. Heat rises, cold air falls. It's just math, right? It's just science. So when you have one thermostat and you're trying to control the temperature on 2 different floors, it is literally physically impossible. Like, you can't do it. So what I tell people is there are ways to do a system where you have one piece of equipment with an outdoor and an indoor unit. You have one system, okay? But you can have one thermostat, but you can also have 2 thermostats. And what that would do, as long as the ductwork, so where is your ductwork at on your first floor? Is it in your ceiling or your floor?
No, it's up the upstairs attic.
Okay.
I don't have any ductwork on downstairs.
You don't have
It's up. It's just it's a 2-story house. The house is really old, but it's a 2-story house, and I have all the ductwork and everything, but there's 2 dampers in there that with wires leading to them, and they were closed, so that helped the problem a little bit. I guess all the heat was going to the upstairs and nothing downstairs.
Okay.
And then I basically moved the damper, and it's better, but that's just a quick fix,
Sure. No, we could definitely fix that, but what it's called is a zoning system. Honeywell makes a great one. There's a couple other ones on the market, but what basically happens, the way it's supposed to be set up is you have a motorized damper on the upstairs ductwork and a motorized damper on the first floor ductwork. Did I say that right? Second floor ductwork and first floor ductwork. So you have a thermostat controlling just the downstairs damper. So that will open and close all based on the first floor thermostat. The second floor will have a thermostat on the second floor, and that damper going to the second floor ductwork will control that space 100% of the time. So, because most of these houses that I've seen, a lot of great examples, a townhouse all townhouses, or 90% of the townhouses, are on a slab. So what's the floor? Freezing, right? It's on a slab. It's always cold. So the downstairs, you got that heat cranking, and then God does the rest. Heat rises to the second floor, right? So this would cause you to have two thermostats that would force the air to the right floor. And that can be done, pretty easily, and it's obviously cheaper than a whole nother second system. So, but that can be fixed. We can definitely take care of that for you.
So let me make sure we're on the same page. So you're saying that there's the possibility that I could fix the dampers. I think the motors must be burned out because I had to physically move them.
Yeah, we can replace. Yeah, we can replace those. Yeah, I mean they're 10. If they're over 10 years old, 12, 15, they're probably about time to replace them anyway. So it could be as just easy as replacing. You're probably going to have to replace the whole control board and the whole 9 yards. But I can take a look at that for you. I can get out there probably this week and take a look at it.
All right. So now, we're on the same page. You're saying that one thermostat can control both floors up and down with one heat pump.
So yes, you can have one thermostat control both floors, but that is not what we want. We want two thermostats. We want a thermostat upstairs and a thermostat downstairs. Each one of them would control the damper going to each floor. So the best way to control that, because like I said, heat rises, cold air falls, you're never going to be the same temperature on two different floors. I've actually seen this in 3-story houses, which the third floor is just like, you might as well feel like you're walking into Hades. I mean, it's just awful. It's never comfortable. So each floor needs to have its own thermostat.
Yeah, even if you have one system, you're saying.
Yeah, even if you have one system. So, I mean, we've been able to zone off sunrooms with thermostats. Sometimes like a mini split out in the sunroom, we could put mini splits in. In fact, we just did it for one of our customers on WINS a couple of weeks ago. He had a sunroom, it was uncomfortable. We put a mini split. But again, there's a thermostat controlled to that mini split. So each floor, each room, we are good. That's what we need.
Awesome. Well done, and thank you so much, Ed, for your call and your question this hour. Yeah, appreciate
and you
that.
got a gift card coming to you. Just make sure you give your address, and we'll get that out to you.
Awesome. Real quick break,
call
though.
In. Yeah, call in. Yeah, definitely call in. 627-7979. Definitely call in on the front of the show, because it never fails. We are always the last 4 minutes. We got 14 calls to answer. So call in now so we can answer your questions or text.
That's right. Call in 627-7979 and join us right here on the 757 House Whisperers Show, right here on News Talk 790 WNIS. We'll be here until 7, so join the show right after the quick break. We'll return, so stick around. Welcome back, everybody, here to News Talk 790 WNIS. I'm Damian Hall, and you're here listening to this Ask the Expert show right here with your friend, Mr. Chuck Worley, and in particular, 757 House Whisperers Show. That's right, new here to the WNIS lineup, keeping it live and local and taking your calls right here live on this show. It's all about you, your calls, your house problems, and getting them fixed, and talking about the solutions with Mr. Chuck Worley and his guests throughout the year here on WNIS on Wednesdays. So call now. Join the show, 627-7979. And if you feel shy, don't feel shy. Call or actually text your question to 757-955-9415. That's 955-9415. That's the same number you can call to get a consultation scheduled with Mr. Chuck Worley and friends. Again, 955-9415 for 757 House Whisper, right here live for the next 25 minutes, taking them calls and questions. And so glad to have you back here, Chuck.
That's fun.
Chuck, that last caller, Ed, was speaking to the problem you just talked about contractors that build new construction, and they build it for somebody else and not their own families, and they cut corners. Mm-hmm. And that homeowner is dealing with a problem that every homeowner listening to us today is dealing with. Every house that was not custom built to that homeowner's specifications has problems, and is going to have problems with short duration, ownership, a short duration of their HVAC system. Their roofing is inferior. So many aspects.
Duct isn't designed.
Yeah.
I mean, just
and when people are buying their homes right now, real estate is not in a problem other than our government, who's interfering with a lot of things.
Now, Tommy.
But we love them. We love all of our politicians. But the bottom line is, you and I are here, and the people that are part of 757 House Whisperer, to get you connected to the right contractors that fit what your need is. And if you have a larger project, whether it's a remodeling or room additions or any of those things, we get you connected to the financing for that. And it could be financing using your own assets, but it's a good idea to get an opinion from experts like Perfect Home Remedy, and we're on the website of 757 House Whisperer, so that you can get connected with any financing need that you have there. But taking what contractors have done for years and all those corners they've cut, that's what frustrates us. So when people get
now you have to say it nice, though. You can't say. So we're not saying anything bad about builders. Builders are fine. They're just going to build a different house for their wife than their Tommy's wife.
Good point.
So it's saying it kindly, right?
It is saying it kindly, and you're right. So when you want to live in it, though, and you want your perfect home with that warmth from that encapsulation, or that warmth from that brand new, improved HVAC system, or that new room addition, whatever it is, 757 House Whisperer is here to deliver what you need. We're a partnership of entities that loves our homes. We love our community. We are serving our community, and we're giving you education. I'm a 68-year-old eternal student, Chuck.
Yeah,
and I'm learning something every day.
You and I were talking,
stagnant. You and I were talking earlier today, and you were talking about what you just learned today, and all the things you learned from your dad, and things that make you the professional that you are. So it's awesome to be here, and we hope people will call in with their questions, whether it's about an existing situation that you have at your home that is not right, and you need solutions. You need guidance to the right people to do the work for you.
Yeah, we just had a text come in from, I'm going to do a shout out for Miss Becky. She texted in, who can we call to get a shower valve installed? That's us. We do pretty much anything having to do with plumbing, from not necessarily new whole bathrooms, but tubs, the sinks, the wash basins, those deep sink basins. Everybody wants one of those in their garage. It seems like. I know my dad did. So
that's right.
We didn't have a house that wasn't the first thing installed when we bought the house, was a deep sink in the garage. So everybody's looking for that kind of stuff. We do everything doing with plumbing. And thanks for your text. Please text the 955-9415. Hopefully I said that right. Yeah, 955-9415, and that, of course, is the 757 number. You can go there, you can text, you can call in. But anybody that calls in, Ed is the only one that is getting a gift card for calling in. So far, that's right. So I got a couple gift cards here in my hand. They're just, my fiance is going to have to use at Starbucks tomorrow. So if you guys don't call in. But yeah, I guess we got a caller.
Yeah, it looks like we have David in Portsmouth on the line with a question. Welcome, David. How are you? Welcome to the show, 757 House Whisperer.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Great. What's on your mind?
I got a letter or an email from my insurance company. My house is paid off, but they said your roof is getting old. We're not going to renew unless you replace it.
Oh. I
said, when did you inspect it? They said, well, we looked at it through Google Maps.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with my roof. It is probably 10 or 15 years old. But I've shopped it around. It looks like everybody is worried to death about an old roof now. So I was wondering, what would I be expected to pay for a new roof nowadays on about 1,000-foot square house?
Yeah, there is a lot of questions that cannot be answered on the radio, and I'm not looking at Google Earth to give you a price, or anybody that I would. That's just ridiculous to me that they would say that to you over Google Earth. But I would say just make sure we got your name and address, and I'll reach out to you tomorrow, and we'll get somebody out there tomorrow. Whoops, I lost. Are you still there?
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
David, in the mortgages I've been doing, I've been seeing a bad trend with insurance companies. They will ask us when they are getting ready to insure these homes whether or not the roof is more than 5 years old. And when they do, there's a major penalty they're putting on your premium. And it's kind of sickening that they're using this strategy, but they're in control, and we really can't change that. All we can do is or I'll put it this way, you will get a lower premium as soon as that new roof is on, okay, which is part of it.
So you got to make sure you call them and make sure you get that. Say, hey, I got a new roof, drop my rate.
I got a trivia question for you guys, all right? You guys are here, you're smart guys. Have you ever heard of an insurance company losing money and going out of business? Ever?
No.
I'm 55.
It's not set up that way.
It's not set up that way.
They just know each other.
I had a friend of mine that had, almost said a name, had a insurance company for since she was 16 years old till she was 40-some years old, 45 years old. No claims. The had a water heater leak through a ceiling, and then 7-8 months later, a teapot she stayed on the stove too long, pulled it off, and the bottom fell off the teapot. So had solder go all across the linoleum floor, and literally had little Bic lighters of flames, and it almost hit. I'll give you a hint. Almost hit my son. So it was my house, but it was there forever. She had the same insurance forever, and they canceled her.
Yeah,
38 years and no claims, and yeah. So the insurance companies are in it to make money too. We get it. We respect that. We just have to learn the game, right? So when they are turning claims down, it's like home. What do you call those? Home warranty companies. I've never had a customer call me and say, you know what? The best decision I ever made was buying a homeowner. Or what happens? I get a call. I get a 30-minute conversation about how nobody's answered them. They'll be out there in 3 weeks because it's free, right? So the insurance is free almost. So they treat you like that. They don't go out. They don't respond quickly. They don't. So
anything to deny that claim. Well,
anything.
You didn't maintenance it.
Oh wait, there was no elephants. There was no elephants
That's
running
right.
past the front yard at the same time giraffes are in the backyard. So unless the zoo breaks out, it's not going to be covered.
Yeah. Did it rain this month? Not claimed.
Yeah, it's so hard with insurance. And again, we're all grown adults. We've all had experiences with these insurance companies. So you want to make sure, of course, you get a good insurance company, but. They're looking for any excuse, like Damon said, any excuse to fail your inspection. Because if you have a brand new roof, guess what won't happen? It won't leak.
Yeah.
Or the chances are it won't leak. If it's under 10 years old, the chances are, so that lowers their risk. But what's your premium do? Does it go up or down? It doesn't matter. It goes up, right? Up. Yeah.
David, and the rest of you listening, you can trust 757 House Whisperer to get the connection to the right roofer, the right remodeler, the right plumber, electrician, HVAC, encapsulation. We're there for you. Yep. We provide all these services and get you connected.
Awesome.
So don't forget to call in at 757 627-7979. Don't wait till the last 4 minutes of the show because we always have that, Damien, right?
Oh, yeah.
5 people call with 3 minutes left. We're like, really? So we want to be able to answer your questions and take the time that we need to answer them. So just call in, 627-7979. Anybody that calls in gets a gift card to Starbucks. All right.
Awesome. Join the show, 627-7979. We'd love to hear from you this hour. And stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on this Ask the Expert show. It's 757-HOUSE-WHISPER at 757housewhisper.com. Go to the website as well. We'll be right back at 6:45. We're here with Chuck Worley and Tommy Hines. It's News Talk 790 WNIS.
Well, it's flooding down in Texas.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Here to ask the expert. It's News Talk 790 WNIS. Welcome to 757 House Whisper. Find out more at 757housewhisperer.com every Wednesday from 6 to 7 o'clock. You can join 757 House Whisperer with your friend Chuck Worley of Worley's Home Services. Chuck, so glad to have you here on Ask the Expert. I know a lot of people are just joining the show in the last 10 minutes, so I'm sure we'll get a bunch of phone calls like we've been asking for this show. But it happens.
Everybody, those Starbucks gift cards, man, they're not going to give themselves away, and I can definitely drink Starbucks.
There you go. Yeah. You got a lot of Starbucks for next week.
Chuck, the reason why these people should be calling right now is that we have the solutions to virtually any house problem that they have, whether they're going to be a home buyer in the future or they are currently a homeowner. And we bring the solutions because we have done the hard work of finding out who are the better value contractors in the marketplace.
That's right.
So right now, people, interest rates have dropped, okay? They're not at their all-time lows, and we're not going to see that. However, it is the best time to think about remodeling your home, to making these improvements that you're talking about. That's part of what Perfect Home Guy here is doing for all of our customers out there, is I help guide you to the right solution. And we don't do that on the air. We do that personally over the phone. And by the way, we all talk on the phone too little these days, don't we? A little too much texting sometimes, a little too much emailing sometimes. But conversation gets things done faster is what I've learned. Yeah. If I have a conversation with my customer, I'm going to get things done faster. If I have a conversation with an underwriter, a processor, a contractor, I get things done faster. So we might be old school, but we're also new school because we're using this new technology, and we're going to be delivering what our customers need, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, 60s, 70s. Don't care what generation you are. We have solutions because we've done the homework. We've seen who works well, who is worthy of being your contractor, okay, or your representative to finance what you want done to your home. So call in now and tell us the things you need done, and we can get you connected.
Yeah, that number is 627-7979. 627-7979 to call the station, and we can answer your questions. We definitely have the knowledge base. So looks like we got a phone call coming in.
Yeah. Looks like we've got a good old Eric Warden on the line. Our friend from Bob FM.
Yeah, I know Eric.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. First of all, I want to say congratulations, Chuck, getting on the air here. I've been listening to his spots. I like the idea that houses speak to you. I think that's brilliant, just to let you know.
Well, thank you, sir. I'd love to say that was really thought out. That was just me talking one day, and I said, you know what? Houses do talk to me, and kind of stuck. Thank you, sir.
It's a great line. You bet. We have a house that's over 100 years old.
Wow.
3 stories, and a couple of things that I wanted to ask you about. First of all, and this might be out of bounds, but, we're getting older, and we've got these 3 stories. Have you ever done anything with an elevator? Have you ever installed elevators?
I have not, but I can get you to somebody that can do that for you.
I had a feeling. Yeah. Roofing is really the main part of my question. One of them is, what makes Worley's best at finding leaks? Because we've got probably some kind of a flashing leak that's getting some browning inside one of our rooms. And even furthermore, as we've got a slate roof on this house, as you can imagine. We're in Norfolk. We're in a historic house. What's your position on replacing those tiles, which are, tried and true? They've been here for the duration of the house. But nowadays, with energy being so top of mind for so many people and paying too much for it, solar being the thing, and the idea that maybe there's a replacement for a solar tile that really looks mostly like a slate tile. What are your thoughts, Chuck?
It does. I have seen those. Those are actually really cool looking tiles, and it definitely does the both. It gives you, it's a 100-year roof. You mentioned the house is already 100 years old, so we're probably getting pretty close to having to deal with that. And that's not a cheap solution by any means. When you said your house was leaky, I wasn't sure which way you were going, with water or air, because anything over 100 years old, it's going to leak like a wind tunnel with air. So I thought you were going to go down that path when you said 100-year-old house. I was like, yeah, man, you're heating the house, and 14 seconds later, you're like, honey, I feel a draft again. Well, no kidding. That house is going to leak like a sieve. So,
We've got a little bit of draftiness going on for sure, but we do have a small water leak from the front porch roof, and so we definitely think we might want to have you out to take a look at that.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely get somebody out there really quick. So, hey, thanks for calling in, Eric. I do appreciate that, and I'll definitely make sure we get somebody out there. I'll call you tomorrow.
Until Julie High.
All right.
Yeah, until Julie High.
Will do.
Right.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guy.
Thanks, Eric. And again, more open phone line 627-7979. If you run out of time, my friends, you can text your questions or schedule a consultation. Call 955-9415. That's 955-9415. And we'll continue out on the phone lines. We have James in Yorktown. Welcome, James. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all tonight?
We are doing well.
Excellent.
We're doing well.
Yeah, well, I noticed in my crawl space this past summer, I was in there, and I noticed a lot of condensation on my system supply line, and I didn't know what I could do to try to get that quick, because I know moisture in your crawl space isn't good.
It is not good. It is not good. Yeah. Well, the problem is that it leads to other things. So as I was talking about earlier in the show, not sure when you keyed in, but basically you're paying your heating and air guy to get the ductwork to 50, very cold air inside the ductwork. The problem is when I'm in a hot, humid crawl space with 90% humidity touching my 50-degree ductwork, what happens? Sweat, condensation, math happens, right?
Is that kind of like a soda can when you pull it out of the refrigerator on a hot day
like
and put it on the counter?
Sweet tea on the back porch.
Yeah.
You cannot stop that glass from leaking.
Yep.
Of course, that's why Yeti made so much money, right?
Yeah.
So, because those don't normally, unless they're cheap Yetis, right?
Sure.
Sweat and condense.
No more rings on the wooden countertop or wooden furniture.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It's the same principle, but actually worse inside the ductwork. Inside the crawl space. So our goal is to get the crawl space under 60% humidity. The only way to guarantee that is to encapsulate it, basically isolate the outside air from getting into the crawl space during the summertime. During the wintertime, I like to use this example even better, is if you have ductwork in your crawl space and you run a vapor barrier insulation on the outside wall, and you got ductwork that's leaking. All ductwork leaks. Brand new ductwork only leaks, 2-3%. Old ductwork, even if you go to any EPA.gov site, it says 30 to 40% duct leakage on 90% of all duct systems lose 30 to 40% in efficiency. So what? Oh yeah, and that's an EPA website. I pulled that off of there. So my thing for saying that is all ductwork leaks, whether it's new or old, just a lot less if it's new, right? So, well, as long as they pulled a permit on it like we do. But take the insulation out of the floors and you insulate the sidewalls. And then your ductwork leaking that hot air into the crawl space. So now I have this positive pressure crawl space filled up with hot air that's supposed to be going into your house. Well, heat rises. So even if the ductwork heat blows into the crawl space, the heat rises. So the floors are warmer because that crawl space is going to stay 60 degrees, 68 in the house, 60 degrees under the crawl space. There's only an 8-degree delta T or change in temperature, so you don't need insulation in between the floors anymore. So now we pull permits on these encapsulations now, unlike some bug guys and some other guys that don't do it right. Pulling permits, you have to insulate the outside walls, right? So what we're doing is we're stopping the cold air from infiltrating into your crawl space because we have hot air blowing into it. So you're filling up that space. We're not allowing the cold air to get in. So it just makes that ductwork so much more efficient underneath the house when you're encapsulating. During the summertime, kind of the same principle, but of course we're pulling the humidity out of a crawl space. And basically an air conditioner or dehumidifier is a small air conditioner, right? They're all digging. They're all digging humidity out of the air. That's why you got condensate. That's just water or humidity in the air getting dumped outside, out back by your air conditioner, where that big puddle is, right? Where all the mosquitoes are. So you want to get that humidity out of the crawl space, get that humidity out of your house. So that is the benefit to encapsulating a crawl space around ductwork. Whether we've been able to save some duct systems because they were okay duct systems, we encapsulated it, and the ductwork wasn't so bad that it was, we had to replace it. But there's other places that we're like, oh God, you have to replace this ductwork. We can do the encapsulation later, but this ductwork is horrendous. And then there's other people that get my buddy Tommy over here and say, you know what, we're doing this one time. Let's just get this money right, and let's just do it
first time. And if your funds are short, that's what 757 House Whisperer is there for. We have financing options for you that you've never heard about. It's not just HELOCs. There's many options.
And we got the 203 energy loan.
203Ks. There's so many options, and we customize them to every homeowner. Every homeowner is different about what they need and what's right for them. I've advised some homeowners to use their equity out of their 401k, for example. Okay, just to borrow from their 401k for a smaller project. But sometimes the large projects, you don't want to do that. Yeah. You don't want to do that. And that's what we do. We know exactly the right plan, the right way to get what needs to be done on these homes so that you can get it done right the first time.
Well said. All right. Closing moments. Any parting thoughts, my friend?
I just thank everybody for calling in. We had, 4 or 5 phone calls in. We got to answer some questions. We are excited about that. Being able to thank you for the people that did call in, because you're actually helping 50 people you don't know in the 757, right?
Yeah. Well done, gentlemen. Well, we're out of time. 757housewhisperer.com. 757housewhisperer.com, or text your questions or get a consultation. Call 757-955-9415 and join us next Wednesday here for 757
that text, you can use that
Whisperer.
all week. That is our main number. That's our main line.
Super.
So you can call or text all week.
See you then.
Who's entirely responsible for its content.